What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and you're watching our SEC football channel. In this video, we're going to preview the roster for the Florida Gators on our roster updates for NCAA Football 14. We call it NCAA Football 21 because that's what the game would be called if there was an NCAA football game coming out this season. So that's what we call it, just to show that these are the updates. And if you would like to get these rosters, you can join us on Patreon. It's only $5 a month. That's all you got to pay to get the updated rosters throughout the offseason. And then during the season, you'll get updates as well. Also, if you join, you will help support us and you will help us to get these rosters done faster. The faster we get these rosters done, the faster you'll be able to play with every single team, and you'll be able to do, dynasties with the updated 2020 schedule, the playoff mod, all kinds of things. Just check out our Patreon page, and you can see all the things that you get there. But again, the most important thing you will get is the updated rosters here for the upcoming 2020 season. Before we get into the roster preview, just wanted to quickly tell you how all of you can help out with these rosters and help us to make them as accurate as possible. If there are number changes for players, if there are incorrect years that you see on this roster, please let us know. Some of these rosters we started doing back before even the spring rosters had been released, so some of the freshmen didn't have numbers yet, and we're just going to go back and do those later. Or maybe some players changed their numbers. Maybe a guy got redshirted last year and we missed that, and we've got him as a senior and actually they're a redshirt junior or something along those lines. So if you see any of that, you can help us out there. Also, players that are no longer on the roster, maybe players that transferred that we had not taken off yet, you can remind us of those players, which of course I'm always checking the transfer portal. I'll come back and get that anyways, but it will just help out if something is put out there for us to make sure we don't miss it. A player that maybe has transferred, or a player that is not really expected to play much, not really on the two deep. If they're an upperclassman, we'll probably take those guys off the rosters and just tell us who you think they should be replaced with. Who do you think should be on this roster that is not? If it's a young player, a freshman, maybe they don't play, but they're still going to stay on the roster because you got to have those young players. The ratings are pretty much set, though. We have a specific formula that we use that's based off of a bunch of different numbers, stats. We use NFL Draft Scout for 40 times. If a player's not on there, we use their recruiting rating. A lot of different things. I'm not going to get into all of that, but those are pretty much set. You can make suggestions if you think a guy should go up or down if you'd like, but they're probably not going to change, at least until the depth charts come out, because at that point we will make some adjustments. We're not going to have a backup running back rated higher than a starting running back. Obviously that would make no sense, so there could be a little bit of adjustments there. Also, when the all-conference, all-American teams are announced, we may tweak some players in those cases as well, but for the most part it's all based off of this formula. Heights and weights, don't worry about that. We will come back and we will get all of those when the fall rosters are released, because those numbers can change anyway, so there's no point in trying to update that and then it changes again. So we'll knock that out once the fall rosters come out. But if you have any help here, if you guys follow your team closer than anyone. If this is your team, you probably know a little bit more about them than I do, and maybe you know some things that I just have missed or whatever. You can help us make these rosters as accurate as possible by giving us this information. I'll be constantly coming back and checking these comments. When I see something that jumps out, I'll make a note, and when I get back on that team, I will make the adjustments. And you will, again, have a chance to get these rosters, even if you don't join us on Patreon. Of course, if you join us on Patreon, you can get these rosters right now. You can get all the updates, and I really would encourage you to do that just to help us kind of speed up this process with a little bit of funding. But if you can't, that's fine. We will probably, more than likely, we're going to release these rosters once they're complete. So it may be August or whatever, but we will give them out for free at some point. And also, you can just help us to make sure our simulations are as accurate as possible as we begin to ramp those up as well. But if you have any information here, please feel free to comment down below and give us any updates that we need to make. Here are the top players for the Florida Gators. You can see Kyle Pitts, their highest rated player at 93. Will he even be a tight end? May even have him a little bit at wide receiver this season. And again, we have him as the top rated player. Then you got a pair, this is interesting. You have a pair of cornerbacks and then a pair of quarterbacks. So 4 of the 5 top players for Florida based on our rating scale are corner or quarterbacks for this team. Interesting. But you see Marco Wilson, he's an 89. Kyer Elam, also an 89. So that is, again, 2 very good cornerbacks for this defense. Kyle Trask, the quarterback, 88 overall, and then Emory Jones right behind him at 86. Kyle Trask is the 2nd highest rated quarterback on our rosters behind only KJ Costello. But I tell you what, if I was playing with Florida, if I was just going to play Dynasty, I'd put Emory Jones in there because of the speed. 86 speed, 95 acceleration. He is going to be a very dangerous dual threat quarterback on the game. In real life, I think he plays a little bit more this year, but still I think Trask will be the starter. Offensive line we know is going to be an issue for Florida this year, but Delance is pretty good. He's an 86. You've got Kyrie Campbell, defensive tackle, an 86 as well. Ventrell Miller at middle linebacker, 86. Evan McPherson, 86 overall kicker. And then Damian Pierce, an 85 overall running back. So those are the top players for Florida. We're going to go position by position now. Back to that quarterback spot again. You got Trask, an 88, and Jones, an 86. And there's Anthony Richardson, who is a 76 overall. Not a bad starting rating for a true freshman. He's got some speed as well, 80 overall speed. We go to the running backs now. There's Damian Pierce, like we said, 85 overall. And there's Malik Davis, 83. And Lorenzo Lingard, the transfer from Miami. His rating is based off of his recruiting rating. Now, he was a 5-star guy. That's why he's an 82 on here. He didn't have enough stats to affect his rating. So that's why he will be an 82. Might be the top running back on this team. We'll see how that plays out. They also have Naquan Wright, a 75, and Iverson Clement, a 74. No fullbacks on the roster. Who's going to be the go-to wide receiver? That'll be interesting. Trayvon Grimes is an 85 overall. Then you got Justin Shorter, 84. Will he even be eligible? I haven't heard if he is going to be eligible or not. Maybe I missed it. He's a very talented player, though, transfer from Penn State. You got Jacob Copeland, an 83. Kadarius Toney, 83. Xavier Henderson, true freshman, 82. High recruit there. So very talented wide receivers here. I know they lost some guys, but still. Frazier's a 78. Pouncey is 70. And then Rick Wells, a senior, 70. So Rick Wells will be a guy that if he doesn't make the depth chart, it's not really someone we're going to want on this roster. He's only a 70 overall. He's a senior, so he's going to be gone. If he does make the depth chart, perhaps his rating will go up. We'll have to see how that plays out. Again, with no spring depth charts released and no news coming out of the spring camps, it's very tough to figure all of this out. We'll probably be relying on some preseason magazines to make our final roster. And then, of course, we'll be updating it all fall once the teams get into camp and you get news out of that. So we go to the tight ends now. There's Pitts again, 93. Zipper a 79. Gamble a 73. And Dante Lang a 71. Offensive line, again, an area of concern for this Florida team. You got Grage, I don't know how to say his name. Sorry if I missed some of these names. Forsyth, 78. Walker, 76. Braun, 73. And I'm not sure why all of those are left tackles. Some of those will probably move around. Again, no depth chart to go by. It makes it very tough to do this. Ethan White's a 74 left guard. And Riley Simmons, a 72. Iguakun, the starting center, possibly a 71. Rowell, a 62. Again, this offensive line, an area of concern. Brett Hagee, pretty solid, 84. And then you got TJ Moore, 73. And then Delance, an 86, the top offensive lineman. So the right side looks pretty good. And there are actually a lot of offensive linemen on this roster. We might want to take 1 or 2 guys off. If you're a Florida fan, you think, I'd probably take this offensive lineman off, let me know down in the comments below. Tell me what player you would add in their place as we try to get these rosters as accurate as possible as you take a look at their last 2 offensive linemen. We go to the defensive side of the ball now. Zachary Carter, an 85. Antoine Powell, a 75. Chatfield Jr., 75. Dunlap, 76. Do not know how to say his name, 75. Conlife, a 72. Or Conliff, I guess. Again, some of these names are pretty challenging. You got Kyrie Campbell, an 86. Tadaro Slayton, an 84. And how about this? True freshman Gervin Dexter. He is an 83 overall. That is I don't know if we have any players rated higher than 83 as true freshmen. So that is a very high number. Humphrey's defensive tackle rating is 73. So this defensive line is going to be really strong for this Florida team. Linebackers, you got Amari Burney, an 85. Derek Wingo, true freshman, he's an 80. Bogle, a 79. And Summerall, a 74. Middle linebacker, there's Ventrell Miller, 86. Also got James Houston, 81. And Tyron Hopper there at 79. Jeremiah Moon is an 85. Brenton Cox, transfer, he's an 81. 79 and 73. Not the David Reese that you saw on the field making plays last year. They had 2 David Reeses, which is just very strange. I don't know if there is a story behind that or not. But again, man, this defense looks really good. Defensive line, linebackers, they are loaded in that front 7. And we go to the secondary now where there might be even better. Again, we talked about Wilson and Elam. 89s overall. These are the top 2 of the top players on this team. And also you've got Trey Dean, 82, might play kind of a nickelback for them. Rogers, 78. Pouncey, 74. Jaden Hill, 72. And CJ McWilliams is 69. Free safety, Sean Davis, 84. Donovan Steiner, an 82. And then Avery Helm, the freshman, 72. Brad Stewart, 81. And Rashad Torrance, a 72. Kicker is Evan McPherson. He's an 86 overall, top rated kicker in the SEC. And again, kickers and punters ratings will probably change. The formula we have is not great, and so I may make some adjustments there. Jeremy Crawshaw, freshman punter, he's a 74. So again, here are your top players for the Florida Gators. They're not filled with a bunch of superstars. You're not going to have a bunch of All-Americans on this team, but they've got a lot of really, really solid players. And if some of those guys can elevate their game and become that superstar type player, I think that's what takes Florida to that next level and takes them to potentially an SEC championship this season. Again, help me out with these rosters. If you see anything that's incorrect, let me know down in the comments below. Some of the stuff we did here, we did a long time ago, so there have been changes. Players change their numbers. The freshmen get their numbers. Maybe sometimes a guy will even change positions, which that's probably not going to happen now. Maybe back during the spring. Maybe it's something we missed. So again, if you have any information on this Florida roster, please let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports YouTube channel.